interestingly enough, there seems to be some rubber on the fenders. I don't know how that could have happened. Morning, everybody. So oddly enough, in the last month or two, I've had multiple people inquire about what transmission shifter I decided to go with in the LS Swap Ford Ranger. And ultimately, after deliberating over many shifters, so one of the challenges that I had was finding a 4-speed specific shifter that I liked, that didn't break the bank. And we ultimately decided to go with the B&M Pro Gate shifter. It is a not very commonly used shifter, I don't think. It's a great budget shifter. These days, if you want to do like a Hurst quarter stick or a B&M Pro stick, those things can be $500+ now, thanks to Bidenomics. I remember when you used to be able to buy those shifters for like less than $300. But I'm living in the past. One of the reasons I went with the Pro Gate, not only because it's cost effective, is because it is a rear cable design. In the Ranger, it just seemed a lot easier to get the cable down below through the floor, and have a nice clean installation over a front cable shifter where the cable comes out the front and you got to go down through the trans tunnel. And both has its pros and cons, but I wanted a rear cable. Another thing that drew me to the Pro Gate, of course, was the cost. You can get this shifter for under $300. Another pro to the Pro Gate shifter is it has no electronics inside of it. There's no chintzy micro switches or anything like that. So all of the safety switches and the reverse switches are done through the OEM switch assembly that is bolted to the side of the transmission case. This is a gate shifter, so there's no levers or anything on the shifter handle. It all relies on the gate. Your reverse lockout is based on the gate. So if you were in a brain dead state, you could conceivably just shift this thing right into reverse going down the road while you were going forwards. That would be very bad. So you have to rely on the gate to do what it's supposed to do. I'm going to go ahead and take the side cover off real quick and we'll go over that. Apologize, the lighting's not the best in here. The side covers are just plastic, but they're very heavy duty. Alright, now we can see the inner workings of the shifter here. Let me get the camera kind of pointed in an appropriate direction. Basically, you got a heavy spring in here. There's no adjustability at this end of the cable. The cable is just bolted to the back of the housing with a simple eyelet and a C-clip right here. This thing's not really meant to be used with the cover off, so it's going to flail around a little bit. But you get the idea. This spring controls the lateral movement of the shifter. So I just wanted to kind of show the inner workings and also the bolts for the shifter base. Let's see if we can see them down in there. The bolts go down through the shifter into whatever base you're going to use. So I'm going to put the cover back on and we'll go over some more. I have it mounted on an 8-inch pedestal. Depending on your application, you may or may not need the pedestal. Since this is a truck cab, usually you need to get it up off the floor a ways. Depending on if it's certain car applications, you may be able to bolt the base directly to your transmission tunnel and have it be ergonomically fine for you. I did mount this on this base that I bought. This base, there's several guys out there on the internet, eBay and the likes, that sell these bases that they pre-make. pretty reasonably priced. I want to say this one was like $79 on eBay. It's a very good height for the Ranger in this particular application. I canted the shifter base pointing towards the driver. I know a lot of people think that looks a little bit goofy, but it really helps with the ergonomics of the shifter and its use. One of the things that's a negative on this shifter is that it's a little bit clunky sounding and very loud. Obviously, if you're in a race car, you don't care about that, but this is a street truck. So you can kind of hear how loud it is. A lot of times I just, depending on what I'm doing, if I'm just getting gas, I'm just drive to neutral, and I'll use the emergency brake as needed. Obviously, if I'm stopped for parking the vehicle for the day or whatever, go all the way to park so that we're using the parking pawl in the transmission, so we're locked up solid and the truck's not going to roll away on you. I don't really have any other negatives. I think the shifter has performed very well. I have about 10,000 miles on this shifter, and I've been, there's nothing that it's done that has caused me any problems. I'm going to take you guys down below and show you what it took to get it to bolt up to a 4L60, and I'm assuming a 4L80 would be the same way. So let's do that now, and then when we get done with that, we'll go for a little ride and show some actual drive footage of the shifter in use. So B&M or like the advertising you see in Amazon and whatnot, it says that this Pro Gate shifter is for all GM 4-speed automatic transmissions. Well, yes and no. It'll fit a lot of the early transmissions, but if you have like a 4L60, and I'm assuming the 4L80 is the same way, but I'm not sure. So like 1999 to 2006, somewhere in there. Don't quote me on those exact year ranges. It's going to have a long shift shaft sticking out of the case. This one has the long shaft. The bracket that they provide you to make this cable fit on the transmission, right here, it has to be modified to be used on the long shifter shaft. The reason for the long shaft is for having the factory OEM neutral safety switch and backup light switch, and it does other things as well, but regardless, I tried to make it work with the bracket that B&M sends with this shifter, and there was just no way, because it points the cable right at the factory switch. So I made this little extension right here. Do some simple math and you can figure out how far you need to move it out. I don't remember exactly what it was, like an inch and a quarter, something like that. Once I made that, I was able to get this to go, get it rigged up, and I've got almost 10,000 miles on it now, and it shifts perfectly still to this day. So as you could see, that was up and down through all the gears. The nice thing about being able to use the OEM neutral safety switch is you can wire all that stuff into your OEM based harness. And you don't have to deal with any gimmicky switches that are on the shifter itself. Anyways, I wanted to show you guys that down below. Alright, so here we are on the driving portion of this video. Just kind of wanted to show this shifter in action a little bit. See if we can get a little bit of the shifter and the outside the windshield. But anyways, pretty basic operation. We got our reverse gear. We'll go backwards, neutral into drive. Everything works really good. As far as the shifter functionality, I have not had any problems with range front to back, so I can come all the way down into first, and first will be first, and it's repeatable and accurate. I've never had to readjust this shifter in 10,000 miles, so generally we're just always in drive. That's a snake. I don't know if y'all can see that or not, but there's a cute little garter snake in the road. Thankfully I didn't run him over when I came through. Now we're going around him. Good luck, little snake. Man, the traffic around here is horrendous anymore. Overdrive, we can drop down into drive. And it all responds as it should. Down into second. It seems to hold gears just fine. So if you've made it this far into the video, thanks for checking it out. I highly recommend this shifter. Been incredibly happy with it. Like I said, great bang for the buck. Would I use it in a 10-second or faster race car? No, probably not, but that's not what this is. So hopefully this video helps you make up your mind on whether you want to try this shifter or not. I highly recommend it. If you've used it and had good or bad luck with it, post up in the comments below. I'd love to hear what you have to say about it. At the time when I bought this shifter, there was one video on YouTube about it. And now I think there might be this one and maybe one more. So anyways, hope you liked it. Stay tuned for more, and we'll see you on the next one.